So a recent study showed that of 55,000 people who got surveyed, the age group between 16 to 24 were by far the loneliest, which is really strange because throughout history, traditionally, it's always been the older age group that's been the loneliest because, when you're 75 plus, there's a good chance you've lost your family, friends because of the circle of life, right? There's a good chance that you've lost your partner as well, or, maybe your partner's ill. And, there's reasons for that age group to be incredibly lonely. Yet, in the most connected time we've ever had in human history, we are seeing people who are getting lonelier, having an inability to build up true friendships, having an inability to get, like a partner or go and date. And it's absolutely crazy, right? If you think back to 20 years ago, was this such a problem? Is it social media that's come in and kind of turned everything on its head and actually rewired people's brains of how you build up relationships? Is it the fact that we had a 2-year lockdown which caused everyone to work remotely and people's social skills just died off? I've got a few theories about it, but today I want to talk about some of my experiences with loneliness and how I flipped it around and became a really social person. So I was out with a group of friends the other day and we were just sat at a table having a few drinks, and one of them said to me, "You know what, Rob, you are the most social person I've ever met." They were like, "I wish I could go and talk to random people how you talk to people." And I thought to myself, wow, that might be the best compliment everyone's ever gave me. And the reason why is because in my head, all I can remember is severe times of loneliness, times of isolation. I remember within the last 10 years, I've literally sat down and thought to myself, if I dropped off the face of the earth right now, would anyone even care? Would anyone even miss me? And there's a few solutions and a few tips that I think you, if you're experiencing feelings of loneliness, feelings of isolation, could implement in your day-to-day life that will actually dramatically help you. The first tip is, I see a lot of information online, first of all, saying that if you're feeling lonely, you should just embrace it and learn to enjoy things of solitude in your life and being isolated. I think, honestly, that is a bunch of BS. I think it's a bunch of BS. Not only that, it's excuse making as well. And I think that we live in a world where if you don't work for something or take action yourself, you won't ever see the change. Nobody is coming to save you. And that is, I'm not trying to be harsh here. I just think that's how life works. So it might sound like I'm being harsh, but honestly, I'm certain that's how it's worked. I've not seen anything, any evidence which points to anything else, which points to luck, which points to, anything else. And I also see information which is given to young men as well. It's all over TikTok, it's all over Instagram, and it's like, if you go away for a year and just spend a year on your own and read these books and learn these skills, you will come back a different person. Like the worst advice ever. What most people forget to realize is that, we grew up in groups of around about 150 people in like tribes, right? And we as humans are very social animals. We need to be around people. It doesn't matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert. We grew up in tribes. That is how our brain is almost hardwired. And these feelings of loneliness, these feelings of self-isolation, this deep fear which happens, these emotions which make you feel really uncomfortable, they come about from an evolutionary approach when you are too far away from your tribe, when you haven't spoken to them for a while. And the reason these come about and make you feel uncomfortable is because suddenly your life could be in danger now, right? Because there's predators out there, there's also enemy tribes as well who might be hunting you. And there's all these different sorts of things which come about. And if you're experiencing things of loneliness, that means you have got to try and do something to change, because we don't live in tribes of 150 people anymore. We live, we might be living on our own now. We might only interact with people a few times a week when we go to the gym, or we might not interact with people at all. You might be a, heavy goods vehicle driver, right? Who doesn't see anybody on the road and travels 36 hours at a time on his shifts and all this stuff, right? So it's a different environment we've grown up in now, but we still have that need within our heads to connect with people. And if you don't do anything about it, you're literally fighting against evolution. So what I would recommend to you is the easiest way to get back in the mind frame of being social. Because what happens is if you're not social for a while, if you're craving lonely, if you're craving interaction, if you're feeling lonely, sometimes you can actually go out and interact with a bunch of people, and very quickly it becomes too much. And it becomes too much because you're not used to that type of environment. It's like too much stimuli, right? And the only way you can increase those boundaries is by just repeat exposure, going and meeting different people again and again and again. So how can you meet different people? Well, I honestly believe that if you're working remotely at the moment, if you're working on your own all day, every day, you need to do something about that. You need to either change jobs, or you need to go and work in a place which encourages social interaction. If you can't do that, if you really, really can't do that, then you should be looking for what can you do outside of your working hours that's more social. Is there some sort of club you can join? Is there some sort of, meetup that's going on around? I helped myself by going and doing combat sports, right? So I did MMA, jiu-jitsu, I did submission wrestling, Muay Thai, all these different sorts of things, which has this sense of camaraderie, right? And, you get on with a lot of people, and from there you can organize sort of meetups and things like this. So first of all, you need to try and change what's currently happening right now, because it's not going to change for you. Secondly, what I would do is pick up your phone right now. This is an action step actually on this video. Who do you have on your phone who you've not spoken to for a while? We've all got phone numbers of people who we've not spoken to. Can you pick your phone up right now and just drop a text message or a WhatsApp to 3 different people that you haven't spoken to in a while? I'm going to give you the exact scripts of what you say. You say, hey, not heard from you in a long time, just catching up and trying to rekindle friendships with people I've not spoken to in a while. How's it going these days? Okay. If you don't want like something like that, you can always just say, hey, a casual conversation starter is, hey, I had a dream last night. It was crazy. You were in this dream. How's it going these days? All right. Just a random text message like that to people. It's just dead natural, and it's just starting conversations. The biggest thing for you to do is to start conversations, because it's kind of like once the wheels are rolling, it's much, much easier to continue then. It's much, much easier to start building. The problem is moving the car when there's no momentum at all. So the hardest part for you is to try and break that momentum. And you're probably thinking as well, like, well, if I reach out to all these people, if I chat to all these people, like, will I like them? Will they think, maybe judge me? Will they maybe think I'm weird? Will they maybe think I'm creepy? You have to understand, the more people you speak to, the more interactions you have, the less you care about those things, because they're all in your head anyway. But the more plates you spin, in other words, like different friendships, different interactions, things like this, the more plates you spin there, the less you care, because humans can only care and be anxious about a certain amount of things at once. After you've kind of reached that limit there, you can only care about immediately what's in front of you. So you might be putting all this weight and this pressure on yourself, thinking, I know I need to get myself out there. I know I need to be social. I know I need to go into these social environments. And all these worries and like these anxieties, this social anxiety gets you. And I know about this, by the way. I used to have serious experiences with this. When I was like 16 years old, I went through this time where like I had such severe social anxiety that I had to psych myself up to go outside. It sounds crazy to even like comprehend now as a person who's in their 30s, but I know back then those fears were very, very real, and I used to procrastinate on it. I used to be late to school because I was so worried about going outside and having interactions with people and wondering what people would think of me. But the fact of the matter is, once I was in those environments, maybe, you know, I would be uncomfortable for the first 5 minutes, but just repeat exposure to things helps you to actually feel a lot better once you're there, and it becomes normal, you know. Imagine a person who's never brushed their teeth before or brushes their teeth very rarely. They're going to be overthinking the movement. They're going to be like, you know, should I put this toothpaste on or should I do A, B, and C here? Like, what's the best way? For a person like yourself who brushes the teeth every day, or at least I hope you brush your teeth every day if you're watching this channel. For a person who does that, you don't even think about it. It's just something which you do. You might do it in the morning. You might do it after every meal. You might do it in the morning and at night. It's just something which happens, which is a part of your life. So that is level 100 there, right? At the moment, it's level 0 where you're at, which is, I don't know how to brush my teeth, right? Like, what even is this, right? So you have to work out that you know you need to get to level 100 where everything is perfectly natural and perfectly normal, and setting up plans, evenings with people, interacting with people, having a range of different people to speak to is very, very easy and is second nature and is automatic to you. That's where you've got to get to. But at the moment, you have to understand that you're at level 0 and you can't just instantly jump all the way to level 100, right? Because it's not become unconscious competence, which is actually what it's called. So if you look at the stages of competence, I'm just going to Google it here for you. Okay, so first of all, we have unconscious incompetence. So if you picture a triangle, we have unconscious incompetence at the bottom. What this means is you aren't doing it right, and you don't know you're not doing it right, right? So after the stage afterwards is you have conscious incompetence. You know, which is probably where most of you are actually. You know you're not doing it right, and you're aware that you're not doing it right, right? So they're the people who can generally be, you know, told that they need to get themselves out there, and they'll actually listen. That's probably where most of you guys are. So conscious incompetence, you know you're doing it wrong, and you're just aware of it, right? Then next you have conscious competence, which is you're taking action to try and do the right steps. So it's an effort though to do something, right? Picture it like brushing your teeth, you know? You're brushing them and you're like, I know I have to go around this way and I have to go and do this. And the final stage, which is level 100, is unconscious competence. If you want to think about this like a video game. So unconscious competence is where you don't even have to think about doing it right. It's just natural behavior to you, okay? So you have to move all the way along these different, you can't just jump from 0 to 100. You're gonna have to experience some pain here, okay? So if you pick your phone up right now and just text a few different people, if you have not really got anybody to text on your phone, you don't know anybody, leave a comment on some sort of post, whether it's this YouTube video here, whether it's, you know, if you're on Instagram account, a Facebook account, whatever, leave an interaction or a comment on that. Do that for 3 different videos. Write something that and don't just make it a quick comment as well. Put yourself under a little bit of pressure. Take this video, for example. What's something you learned from this video? Make a comment about it, right? These are little tiny steps which seem insignificant, but really the level 0 person or the level 1 person or the low level person, it's still XP. If you think about this like a game, it's still getting you experience points, and you have to go up the experience points ladder to get to level 100, right? So there's some very, very simple steps for you. If you are maybe a little bit further ahead and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I I already have people I message. It's just hard to meet up with them. It's just hard to, get some sort of activity together. That's where you have got to take action then. So your goal is to try and set up a coffee date with a few different people, a beer maybe with a few different people, okay? Or some sort of event. And how you do this very, very quickly is you message people and you say, hey, I'm thinking, you speak to the people who are most likely to say yes first, and you get them to say yes. And then what you do is you go to the people who aren't as likely to say yes afterwards, and you ask them if they want to come and join you, right? You don't just ask them to come and meet you. You ask them if they want to come and already join you at this event that's already happening. I'm just going to leave it with that. It's very high level, it's very basic, but I want to see if you guys can take something away from that. Remember, this social stuff is something which you have to take action on. It's a sword which needs sharpening. You have got to get out there. Don't listen to any of these TikToks or these Instagrams which are telling you to go and spend 10 years on your own. The planet is already lonely enough. You need to be doing both. You need to have an integrated life. So if you're working a lot on health at the moment, if you're working on a business or working on your career, you need to not just think, well, I need to just 100% focus on this. You need to integrate the social side in. It's literally within your biology to do so, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one for some more tips. Okay, take care.